Hello, hopefully you can hear me. Okay, well, good morning. My name is Brian Harrison, and I'm Managing Director of High Tech Health, which is a small service provider in the small but growing service provider in the pharmaceutical biotech, and we work with some medical device companies as well. Just maybe to give you a bit of background to my own career, I worked with Bristol Myers Squibb for over 20 years. I headed up their technical organization based in the US. I was responsible for transferring products in and out of the network, and that will be a key focus of the discussion here today. But just to give you a flavour of some of the work that we do, we have a team of experts across EHS, quality, compliance, regulatory. We work very much in the operations side, things like supply chain, manufacturing. We're working currently with a number of companies in what I call international operations setup. So helping small to medium-sized companies, if they want to target Europe, they want to come to Ireland, they want to set up, they need to, nowadays, in the past, dare I say it, a lot of them would have set up their financial, maybe legal structures. They now actually need to do something constructive in their area of business. So we help them in many cases set up things like supply chain. Some of them do research, etc. So we help them in those areas. I'm going to talk a little bit more about new product introduction and tech transfer, so I'll pass on that one. We also then help companies in manufacturing operations. So some of the recent projects we did, we built a business case for the company that wanted to do an expansion in their operations, their drug product operations. As I've seen many times in the past, what they do is they come up with a concept and then they go to an engineering company and they develop the plan. And generally, the two things don't meet. The plan that comes out of the company is much more expensive than they had decided. So we helped basically build the business case from the bottom up. What specific products did you want to manufacture? What are the capabilities you want to use now and into the future? So. Done a number of projects in the capacity management space. Also carry out quite a bit of due diligence activities for companies, such as one example was a company that was involved in purchasing a product last year in Europe. We carried out the technical due diligence on the product, could have been manufacturer, supply chain, and also on the facility that manufactured the product. So we're currently involved in a similar activity in the US at the moment. And the technical executive leadership is more something I do myself. I've just come from Smurfit Business School. I'm involved in the leadership development program there in the diploma for strategic management for biotech and pharmaceuticals. And that's a lot of fun. And there's another program kicking off shortly in that space. I'm here today to talk about tech transfer, tech receipt. We've developed a proprietary software package in this space. For those of you in the biotech, pharma, and med device, you know that this is a very complex activity. Typically, if I start today and make a decision, I'm going to transfer a product to another site. By the time that product is fully qualified, registered around the world, it's probably about 3 years. By the time you plan, you implement the process, validate the process at the receiving site, and then carry out all the regulatory activities, it's a long time. Takes and it can be quite painful in many ways. So there's a vast array of information, there's a lot of people involved, there's a lot of different functional areas. And the functional areas often have different priorities. The manufacturing guys want to implement it in July. Their goal is implementing it. Those bloody quality people are holding me up from getting my work done. You know, they while they're all working together, in many cases they have different priorities. So what we've done is, and my own experience, I suppose, my own experience in the past, just to go back a little bit, when I was in Bristol Myers Squibb, I was involved probably for about 25, 30 different product transfers. That wasn't process transfers, that was product transfers. Many of those would have involved multiple steps. We were involved, for example, in one strategic decision which had transferring out 8 products at the same time to a multiple different third parties. I basically depended on my project managers and my teams to get that to happen. I believe there's a better way. So you get your reports, you got your Gantt charts, etc. There's a better way to do this. Currently, in my experience, and we've talked to quite a number of companies, it happens by phone call. People store their documents maybe in SharePoint. they have emails, they have conference calls. Everything is very disparate. It's not structured in a way which can be helpful. And what we've developed is a platform which is fully integrated platform. You have to get access into the system. So if you're on a tech transfer team, the transfer manager will be assigned, they'll have the team, they all go into the same space. We've called this technical receipt because the other issue I would see is that there's an awful focus or a big focus on pushing. So it's transferring the technology from the expert site to the receiving site. We've structured this tool which will allow not just focus on the transferring side to transfer information, but also on the receiving side. And the big difference is on the receiving side, you're receiving the information, but then there's a lot of activities that you have to carry out. So the tool is quite intuitive, easy to use. It has a functional structure base which will allow you not only to take in the information, it will fully manage all of your documents for you, it will allow you to take in your information, but it will also allow you to carry out your activities and store your documents in the same space. It's got multiple tools built into the same platform. So it's got project management tools, it's got communication tools, it gets discussion forum. And why did we put some of those tools in there? The feedback we got from companies prior to developing this platform was that we really struggle with when we're carrying out the tech transfer, all of the information that happens during the tech transfer. So what we do well is we can transfer all of our documents to the receiving site. But then there's activities and things that happen at the receiving site. There's communications. My compression didn't go and my tablet compression didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Well, you know, that ends up being a phone call or it ends up being an email communication between people. That information gets lost. There's a discussion forum in there which is fully searchable. So if you have that discussion within the platform, you can then search that information going forward. You can, 6 months later when you do a next campaign, what was that problem we had the last time when we were doing tableting? It's all there. It's all in the one system. So you have people. Another key, some of the technical features I've talked about here, personal access control, knowledge management by functional area within the team. So it is structured in a way where you have your quality, they have their own area that they can work together. You have your manufacturing, you have your environmental, they can all work within that space, but they're all within the same platform. So all of the information on that product is stored in the one place. All of the different cross-functional teams are all working in the same space. Your product information is stored in that one space. Companies do set up SharePoint, but SharePoint is one tool. You need multiple tools for a cross-functional team to work effectively together, and this is built for that purpose. Project management, I mentioned, live chat, discussion. It's got a built-in calendar. You can arrange your meetings, etc. You know, in that tool, your team meetings. It's got document history and control. Clearly, we've just heard our previous speaker talking about regulations and management of documents. So again, it's got document history and control built in there. It's got a controlled site for your receiving site. This is extremely important. Typically what companies do, if I'm transferring to a CMO, I'm probably setting up a separate portal for my transfer to that CMO. I can now, within this tech transfer software platform, set up my receiving site for my BASF or my Catalan or whoever my CMO is that I'm transferring the product. I can invite them into that space. They can only see the information in that space. It actually is very useful for you then to see how well they're progressing with their transfer because they are carrying it out in a site that you have access to. Now you still can't control what they put into the site, but it will build a detailed data of your best CMOs that you're working with, because if they're transparent and keeping you up to date with the work that they're doing at their site, it'll build confidence. You know, it'll build your confidence in how well that CMO is doing. So I think that's it's a fully separate site controlled by access into the site. So, technical receipt, enhanced benefits, decision making and sharing through the use of better technology. We're talking about better technology and innovation here today. This is an innovative advancement for how you can transfer and store your information in a tech transfer going forward. It's efficient, it's easy to use, you have access to information on the go. You can open up this platform on your tablet as well. You could open it on a phone as well. It might be a bit small, but certainly you can. It's readily accessible as you go. A lot of the transfers, as you know, in this industry, you know, the development might be done in one country, the manufacturing in another country, and in many cases what companies do is that when products reach their end of life cycle, they actually transfer to a lower cost manufacturing. So there's a number of iterative transfers that occur even with the same product, and this will help you to manage that. I think it's quite intuitive, quite easy to use, so happy to take any questions or talk to people after this talk. Brian Harrison, some information here. I have some leaflets as well and business cards if people need information. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.